Wanted to show you how you could use a clipping mask or make a clipping mask. Um, we've been working with masks on layers, but this is just another way of thinking about masks that you might find useful in this project. So I've got 3 layers. I have a sky, kind of a pinkish purple sky layer. If I select it, you can see it's much longer than my composition. I also have this image of a person here that I'm going to use as sort of my shape to borrow. And then underneath that, I have this desert scene, this landscape. And so what I'm going to do is borrow the shape of this figure, and you could do this to create a clipping mask of anything. It's just about having sort of like a pre-made shape or a stencil, you can think about it that way, that then you can apply other imagery to and affect all the effects that you create will stay in that shape. So I'm going to just take this image of this person. I thought it was a clear profile that would show up. And I could select this in a number of ways, right? To get rid of the background, I could use the magnetic lasso would be a nice tool to select the figure. I need to go slow and take my time with that. For quick purposes, I'm going to use the AI tool down here to remove background. And if this were my project, I'd spend some time and clean up that mask and get the nice hard edges that I want. I can always also adjust it later. But I'm going to apply this mask so it actually removes. So I right click on the mask, apply layer mask, and it will remove the background of that layer. And then I'm going to adjust, I'm going to go to image, adjustments, and level, hue, saturation, sorry. And I'm going to take the lightness, the bottom slider, all the way down because essentially I just want this shape. I'm borrowing the shape. I just need a solid color silhouette shape. And again, this could work with any kind of shape. I could even make a shape, for example, with my paintbrush and with a hard round tool and my black paint or even my blue paint. I could make a shape, and I'll show you how we can use that later. But we're going to work with this silhouette shape. And then the way that this works is I'm telling anything I put a clipping mask on, I apply a clipping mask, it's going to put the image into the shape of the layer that's underneath it. So the stencil layer is always the one underneath, and the image that you want to apply is on top. So I'll show you how this works. So I select my cloud layer, my top layer, and I'll choose the little sandwich menu and scroll down to create clipping mask. And what that does, you'll notice in the layer, it creates this little arrow, it offsets it. It's telling you like this layer is being applied to that shape and that transparency. So it will only appear where there is fill. You can see if I switched my layers up here and I put this here, oh, now this is also in a clipping mask. So it also has the little arrow saying it's applied also. So I could keep adding clipping masks and add things and everything will stay nice and contained. What's also really cool with this is I can adjust each. So I could choose the cloud layer, for example, and I can move it around. I could try to find what's the shape I want, or what's the window that I want to reveal. I could also transform this. I'm going to flip it vertical to create some of that darker cloud up top where the brain might be. I kind of like that illusion. And then I could also adjust my mask layer or my shape layer that I'm applying the mask onto by just simply adjusting it. Like I'm not really a fan of these wispy hairs. I might get rid of that, make it a nice solid shape. Maybe I'll fix this head shape to look a little bit more like a generic head, not without hair. Something like that. And I can move it around. Oops, wrong layer. Move it around. And I can move them both together, right? By selecting them all and moving them that way. If I wanted to release the clipping mask like I do on this scribble that I made, I again go back to the sandwich menu and I say release clipping mask. I'm going to try something where I put this down here. Oops, it added a clipping mask automatically. And I'm going to add the cloud clipping mask onto the scribble. See what that looks like. Yeah, kind of wild. So anyway, clipping masks can be fun to play with. You could also experiment with blending modes in clipping masks. It's gonna, affect or apply the color of the clipping mask. So with my black clipping mask, it would do something different. But right now I've got a blue fill in my stencil, if you will, that's blending with the colors of that clipping of the layer above. So that's clipping masks. I hope that is useful.